Tears and heartbreak. Kim Miller says neighbors and loved ones are leaning on one another as they mourn the loss of 9-year-old Jayden and 6-year-old Maurice.
Not long after the crime tape went up in this quiet Shepherdsville subdivision, the talk began, and eventually the awful rumors proved true. According to police, Tiffany Lucas shot her 2 young children inside their Bentwood Drive home Wednesday morning.
Nine-year-old Jayden Terrell Howard and 6-year-old Maurice Baker Jr., affectionately called Jay and Peanut, were 2 active, playful boys with bright, friendly eyes and captivating smiles. They lived a seemingly normal life in Shepherdsville, Kentucky, with their mother, Tiffany Lucas, in this charming home situated in a quiet, unassuming suburban neighborhood. They both attended Freedom Elementary School, loved soccer and baseball, Legos, and Star Wars. They had family and friends that loved them and seemed to be happy, well adjusted boys. Halloween was one of their favorite holidays. They loved to dress up as their favorite characters and often would choose a theme. Halloween 2023 was especially exciting. The boys dressed up as their favorite characters from Star Wars. They danced around in their costumes, full of joy and laughs, collecting candy and memories. No one could have imagined it would be their last. It was a warm, sticky fall morning on Brentwood Street in Shepherdsville, Kentucky. Neighbors were immersed in their morning routines, completely unaware their lives would change forever on this random Wednesday morning. Sometime around 11 a.m., the sound of 4 gunshots pierced through the neighborhood. An eerie silence followed. The air became heavy with dread. Tiffany Lucas was seen stumbling down her neighbor's front steps as he pulled into his driveway. As he exited his vehicle to ask if she was okay, she collapsed and told him her kids were dying. Before he could even process what she meant, he raced through her front door, frantically searching for the boys. Tiffany did not follow him into the home. She remained outside, laying on his driveway. The neighbor found the boys in a bedroom, both laying on a bed, not moving, covered in blood, with a gun nearby. He immediately called 911 and stayed with the boys until paramedics arrived. The boys were still clinging to life and were rushed to Norton Children's Hospital with a police escort. It took 30 long minutes before they pulled into the hospital driveway. They were immediately taken into surgery, but unfortunately, at 2:50 p.m., it was announced both boys succumbed to their injuries. Police recovered Ring camera footage from a nearby home. In the video, 4 gunshots can be heard. Approximately 4 minutes later, Tiffany is seen walking out of her house, yelling for help. No one else was seen coming or going from the home, which led investigators to believe Tiffany was the shooter. At approximately 3:45 p.m., Tiffany was arrested and booked into Bullitt County Detention Center, charged with 2 counts of murder. A normal Wednesday morning in a quiet suburban neighborhood suddenly turned into horror, leaving neighbors and the community shocked and reeling with grief. The home sitting silent, with no life left inside, as the sun goes down, yellow crime scene tape drifting in the evening breeze. How can a mother callously end the life of both her beautiful boys? What was going on in their home that morning? Did the boys sense something was wrong? I can't bear to think about the horror of one of the boys realizing the person he loved and trusted the most just murdered his brother and was aiming the gun at him. Maybe it happened so fast, neither one of them saw it coming. I have to believe that. I have to hope that's what happened. My mind and my heart doesn't want to accept that's the last image they saw before dying. There will never be any plausible reason for a mother to literally assassinate her own children. The heinous nature of this crime leaves all of us devastated and questioning why. The last thing I want to do is talk about Tiffany. There's a burning hatred inside of me for her and what she has done. I can't stomach looking at photos of her. I will not show one photo of that monster with those precious boys in this video. Unfortunately, I have to put those feelings aside and pore through what information I can find on her life and see if there were signs or indicators she was a ticking time bomb. Digging for the hows or the whys might shed light on signs we can all watch for and possibly save a child's life. I'd like to take a quick second and make sure it is understood and completely clear that by discussing Tiffany's life and things she may have gone through does not mean in any way I condone what she did. We all experience loss, tragedy. Some of us have had to endure horrible traumas, illness, and all of the terrible things life can throw our way, and it doesn't turn us into monsters. So with all that said, let's discuss what I was able to find on Tiffany's past. Tiffany Ann Lucas is 32 years old and originally from Chicago, Illinois. Not a lot has been reported about her background or childhood, but I was able to find some information about her adult life we can weave together and see if anything sheds light on where her head was at. There isn't any information on employment for Tiffany. She apparently tried modeling for a time, but it didn't seem to go anywhere. She loved to post selfies to her social media, flaunting her quote unquote assets, and seemed to have an arrogance about her. In 2016, she opened a convenience type store called Tiff's One Stop Shop. It didn't make it and closed in 2017. From 2017 forward, it's unclear what she did to earn money. There has been speculation she may have been escorting to support herself and the boys, but whatever she was doing to earn money after her business failed seems to be a mystery. This Facebook post from January 2022 seems to allude to some sort of alternative lifestyle. It states, I take no offense to the people living different lives than me. I don't understand others' lifestyles and don't expect anyone to understand mine. That is the thing, though. Others feel so dignified on gossiping instead of tending to their own issues. Everyone's life has some type of conflict in it, so why pick at others instead of focusing on fixing you? If it makes you feel better, stay entertained. After her business shut down in 2017, she pled guilty to illegal substance charges and spent 30 days in jail. That is the only offense found on her record from 2017 to current.
WDRB has been digging into Tiffany Lucas' background to find out more about her. We learned that she was once a business owner whom we interviewed actually in 2016. She had just opened Ms. Tiff's one-stop shop convenience store on West Broadway. We spoke with her 7 years ago about the impact as a young entrepreneur after Walmart pulled its plan to open a store in that same area.
A lot of people don't make their way down here, but if there's a Walmart, you know, you come out of the woodworks for Walmart. So probably would have brought a lot of people to, you know, stop and check us out.
Business records show her store closed in 2017. A year later, we found she pleaded guilty to drug charges and was sentenced to 30 days in jail. There's no criminal record between 2018 and last week, when she was charged with killing her two young sons.
Sometime in late 2018 or early 2019, Tiffany's father, John Lucas, passed away. It seems she had a very close yet unstable relationship with him. His death seemed to be a huge loss for Tiffany. I found some posts on her Facebook page that speak to how her father's death affected her. This one here reads, I have always wore pain well. Yes, we had an unstable relationship. I was so cold when he was the warmest. The pain within my soul is unbearable to feel or know can even exist. I will forever be as warm as you were on your last days. I will believe in our Lord, and I will love you longer than you have ever been loved. You are free of the demons and the snakes and the nasty place that we call home. You're happy now, and that alone helps me. Soar the world and enjoy your afterlife, Daddy. Her father's Facebook page seems to show a man that may have been struggling. This post here states, sometimes I wonder if I'll ever catch a break. And you can see Tiffany commented below. And here is an interesting post. It's a photo of him with Jayden and Maurice, and you can see in the comments, someone asks how Tiffany is doing. His response is interesting. He says, she's doing well, thanks. There are comments on some of his posts from people asking him to get in touch or saying they've been trying to reach out to him and he's not responding. To summarize so far, in 2017, her business fails after only a year. She's arrested on illegal substance charges the same year, and then roughly 2 years later, she loses her dad. Let's keep going. In April of 2019, the same year Tiffany lost her dad, she would have 3 more deaths. In this post, it looks like a good friend of hers passed away. It reads, to lose someone is hard enough, but to lose you breaks my heart. Ups and downs through it all, you were seriously me, and I was you. It's crazy, Thelma and Louise, as everyone called us. I can't believe it, still, and the pain runs deep. This is a hard one. You were still so young and full of life. You wanted children, marriage, and so much more. In July 2019, the father of her son, Jayden, died suddenly. I've heard reports he was murdered, but have not been able to verify that at this time. So Jayden's father's death seemed to have greatly affected Tiffany as well. This post here reads, this can't be real. The world's best father and such a great man all around. Our sons hurt, lost, devastated, and broken-hearted. The pain I see and feel is unbearable. Life's not fair. Why him of everyone in the world? Why you? I will never get over this one. You taught me how to love. You taught me so much. I can't stop crying. How do I do this without you? You were literally my best friend. We talked every day and seen each other every day. No, no, no. What a life to take and bond to break. In December 2019, she also lost an uncle. Tiffany also paints herself as a loving, doting mother on her social media. She has many posts of her with the boys with captions like, every day is Mother's Day in my world. I can only thank God for blessing me with the utmost respectful, compassionate, strong, silly, emotional, overprotective, obsessive, loving young kings that call me mommy, mom, and mama. I don't think I would know how to smile, love, or survive if it wasn't for them. Even on our bad days, they shower me with an abundance of love. Always together, never apart. 3 souls, 1 heart. And here's another post from Tiffany in regards to her boys. My lifeline, my heartbeat, my everything, my kings. But some of the boys' family members have spoken out and stated there were problems behind the scenes and that CPS was called many times. What they have to say is very telling.
It was always an issue with her. It was never normal.
Tiffany, you mean Tiffany?
Tiffany, yeah.
Oh.
The pickup and drop off was never normal. The times were never consistent. It just, things were hurt with her, just, they weren't normal. Nothing was normal. She kept him from so much things we used to try to do for him, birthday parties, Christmas. During those times, she would purposely keep him. We threw big birthday parties for Christmas time. He wouldn't get his presents till around Valentine's Day. Nobody really knew, behind the scenes of her, like her drug issues. She never had a job. She never worked. Things like that. Like the boys were taken from her previously when they were smaller, do drugs, things like that. But they were given back. The court, we tried to reach out to CPS, they let us down. They didn't follow up. They said what we said wasn't strong enough. Drugs, leaving the kids at home by themselves, things like that. But they wouldn't follow up with things like that. And these boys were 2, 3, 4, they're only 3 years apart. So they were very young during this time that we were reaching out to CPS, things like that. They did nothing. And maybe it was her time to get little Reese back. She wouldn't pick up the phone, or, she would, like I say, be on drugs and be gone for a month at a time and wouldn't pick up the phone. So there's things that kind of like, she had options. He had family, he had us, he had, she just didn't want anything good for him, because it was about her, not him.
She's come out and said through the detective who testified that she allegedly said this was an accident, that someone gave her a gun, that she was in a bad spot, that she was manipulated. What do you make of those claims?
Excuses, just something to say, because to me that, like, an accident, like that, there's no accident. There's no accident. Like, you can't accidentally do that. There's two of your baby boys that you intentionally killed. You went to the neighbors, you told them that. Like, she was competent, she knew exactly what she did, and I believe that's what she wanted. Like,
What do
she
you
knew what she did.
do you have any idea what she's talking about, that she was manipulated through Wi-Fi or the internet or Facebook or whatever that means?
I have no idea what that could mean, honestly.
What about the fact
I
that she had this gun? Like, do you know where she would have gotten it from or anything? Because she said someone gave it to her.
um I believe probably one of those guys maybe she dealt with. Like I said, she didn't have a job or anything, so her ways of making money, or escorting ways, whatever, maybe something like that, you know.
You you know that she was escorting to make money?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, she never had a job. I mean, how else do you make money without a job? You know?
Um, did you ever did you ever see anything like this? Did she say to anybody that she was
Yeah, she
doing
was
this?
we've seen, like, things like that. I believe she left her email up before, and she left her email up on a computer she was using, and it was in her emails and stuff like that. And it's known, like, people who know her know things like that. Their living conditions inside the house were crazy. I never would have thought that it looked like that, honestly. Um, but it looked horrible. It looked really bad.
Did Reese or Jayden ever say anything to you that they're concerned about their mom? They're worried about where they're living? Anything that they talked about their mom in any way? Or
No, so when little Reese was little, as a young child, you don't really know what not to say.
Mhm.
So he was the one that was letting us know, like he was being left at home with just his brother, or being left alone in the car with his brother, and mom locks the car, things like that. So
I think that interview also sheds a lot of light as to what was going on behind the scenes with Tiffany. Illegal substance issues, denying the boys time with other family members, losing custody of the boys at times, along with financial issues. In my opinion, Tiffany saw her boys more as property than individuals that deserved love from everyone. She used them as pawns in a game against other family members to prove she was in charge, denying these precious boys time and memories with important people in their lives. In her mind, she owned them and didn't want to share them with anyone else. It doesn't seem like she had the capacity to love outside of her own selfish wants and needs. Along with that, the attention seeking selfies she posted on social scream narcissism to me. I know that word is thrown around a lot, but let's look at some of the traits of narcissism that might relate to Tiffany from the information we have gleaned so far. I found these in an article from Psychology Today. Narcissists see other people as tools. Their lack of self awareness is paralleled by a lack of awareness that others exist as individuals with feelings, needs, and desires. Whatever they ask for, it's in their own selfish interest, and they suffer no guilt for expecting others to sacrifice for them. Narcissists want and demand to be in control, and their sense of entitlement makes it seem logical to them that they should be in control of everything. Arrogance and conceit are traits that are often noticed first in narcissists. This is evidenced by disrespect for the positions or rights of others, and the narcissist's willingness to demand and expect that others will bend to their will. I also found some interesting traits of female narcissists, and it's from an article called The Power of Positivity. A narcissistic female finds enjoyment in being manipulative. She will likely use passive aggressive behaviors to hurt those around her or to confuse them. When she wants to get her way, she will use tactics like gaslighting and shutting you out until you give in. She creates a game out of the number of times she gets people to cave to her desires. Plus, she will give endless guilt trips and make people feel guilty like they owe her. Narcissistic people believe that they are never in the wrong, even when it is clear they are. They feel like it is never up to them to apologize and that the other person should always apologize instead. Female narcissists are often mentally unstable and involve themselves in risky behaviors. They often have addictive personalities, struggle with aggression, and become outraged when they feel rejected. You might notice that her moods change drastically and quickly, and she becomes upset without warning. Her outward appearance is more important to her than anything else, and it shows in the way she carries herself. Not only does she require the most expensive clothes, shoes, and accessories, but she is also obsessed with the way she looks. She will flaunt her best physical qualities and usually won't leave the house without a full face of makeup. Looking her best is one of the ways she asserts her power over others. So, those are some interesting points from these articles that I think describe Tiffany from what we have seen so far. All this said, just because someone is a narcissist doesn't mean they are or will become a murderer, but with the perfect set of circumstances and desperation, I believe it can play a factor. All of that is just my opinion. I'm not a doctor or a psychologist, but Tiffany's unstable lifestyle, traumas, and narcissistic traits were catching up with her, I think. It's been reported as well that Tiffany was in financial dire straits. Apparently, when the family went to go clean out the home, there was an eviction notice, the utilities were turned off. And personally, I think the financial issues is what sent her over the edge. If she couldn't provide for the boys, she might lose them. She couldn't have that. She owned them. It didn't matter that they were individuals who had the God given right to live, they were her property. I think ending their lives was her final FU to prove to everyone she was in control. I think that's why she shows no remorse and has that god awful scowl on her face. She's not sorry at all. She brought the boys into this world and she decided when they would go out. In her twisted mind, she probably thinks they are better off. She never turned the weapon on herself, though, and that speaks volumes to me. She absolutely disgusts me. She left a trail of horror, pain, and destruction behind her, all for her own selfish reasons. Her saying it was an accident, she was in a bad way, or Wi Fi told her to do it is absolute garbage and a half witted attempt to save herself. I honestly don't know if there were any obvious signs Tiffany was capable of something like this, and I think that is what makes this case so terrifying. Could anyone have intervened to save the boys? As in most cases, maybe if CPS would have stepped in and investigated the environment the boys were living in, they could have been removed and sent to an appropriate family member. But as usual, the reports from family members went nowhere, and now two beautiful, innocent lives were taken too soon. I wish the CPS workers who had a hand in this case were sitting right next to Tiffany in prison, but they never seem to face any repercussions. It's absolutely infuriating. It will be interesting to see what more information we are able to get once this case goes to trial. I hope she isn't offered a plea deal. I really want to see a trial in this case. The boys deserve justice and everything needs to come out. Maurice and Jayden were violently ripped away from this world, and their loss has absolutely devastated their loved ones, their community, and anyone that has heard their story. I hope this video not only brings awareness to their need for justice, but to the beautiful boys they were. Rest in love, Jayden and Maurice. Your light still shines, and you won't be forgotten.